He said, I got one that can't nobody shoe. And your daddy said, sir, I'm not being smart or sarcastic, but has your horses got 4 feet and got hair? Yes, sir, he does. He said, well, in the morning at 6 o'clock, we're going to be in Denison. I forget what this judge's name was, but he unloaded old Sarley. Me, BR, and Jerry Ronald, and your daddy went up there.
That's a bad
group right there.
BR and Jerry Ronald was working together, and me and your daddy was working together. He had this old saw horse tied up out there. So a little while we working along there, he said, Muscles, go out there and untie old Sarley and bring him over here. I said, okay. So I untied him and took him over. He reached down, picked up that back foot. Boy, and the air hammer didn't have nothing on him. Oh, he said, B.R., you and Jerry Ronald get them little old bitty ropes out of the back of that truck. Come here. I don't need to tell you how Jerry Ronald was, but anyway, he was picking at him, said, Bill, this old horse's breath stinks. Sure needs his teeth brushed.
Yeah.
He said, he got a bad breath. A little while your daddy told him, he said, now Jerry Ronald, this horse is mad. You better leave him alone. He is opening up his lips and blowing in his mouth, really making him mad. He was good about it. He was the world best making something mad.
Yeah.
Your daddy hadn't got that much more out of his mouth. That old horse reached up there and grabbed that booby.
Oh.
And Mister just pulled it back, and a 20-gauge shotgun didn't sound any louder than that. He fell back on the ground, your daddy, and he said, Bill Blagg, he jerked my puppy off. Your daddy never stopped working, never done nothing. He said, Jerry Ronald, I told you the horse was mad. That's all he ever said. And I'll guarantee you, when we buried Jerry Ronald, I didn't look, but I bet you he had
still
that
had that scar.
I bet he did. I didn't ask Dewberry if we could look. You know, just.
Dang, I wish he was still here.
Oh, Doyle.
We'd have some fun out of that sucker.
Oh, Lord.
But see, I can't believe your dad, as much as cut up as Jerry was, putting up with Jerry. Because nobody ever, I mean, we laughed at cut up,
son, but you didn't understand Jerry Ronald.
No.
oh, nobody
I mean,
did.
nobody could.
Yeah.
You know.
That sucker he was a good worker too.
Oh, he would work.
He would
You
work
know.
like a hound now. That sucker would get on with it.
And
Sure
stout.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Him and Philip Cole is the only 2 people I know pick up an anvil, 125 pounds. One hand, put it in
On
the
the horn.
back pickup.
I remember seeing him do that. That's your dad.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
That was a pretty dadgum hefty little pickup job. But he could do it. You remember when BR was pretty stout.
Was he?
I remember,
I could outrun him.
he had to.
Hey,
I had to.
you had to.
Yeah.
Boy, you could piss him off.
I could piss him off and outrun him.
Hey, one day in that
You did
house,
not want to let him get
Hey.
hold of him.
One day in that house, I don't know what you done to him,
Ain't no telling.
but Mister, he took in running after him. Couldn't catch him. Shit, he about to get close to him and Doyle would take off. Well, anyway,
Another gear.
Doyle made the mistake to run through the kitchen. When he did, BR reached over and grabbed a knife. He said, I can't catch you, but this knife can. Just as he turned, that knife hit that door facing.
Ow!
Yeah. Yeah, he
Oh,
never.
my Lord.
But you didn't want him a hold of you, or stout.
He got after me one day, and I had a T-shirt on. And all I had left of that T-shirt was a little ring around the neck where that shirt was sewed up, like right around there. Yeah. Because he got close enough to get that shirt, and then I get me another gear, and he just tore it off. God almighty. I didn't want him getting a hold of me.
No,
Not
no.
then.
Hey, hey. I'll tell you who it was, Billy Bush.
Oh, my
That's who
God.
it was. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
That's who it was. Because how it come about when he was working for Mr. Phillips. We was working over there one Friday. And he told me to go down there at the round pen, catch the next horse. He said, here, take this halter. So I walked down there, and damn, that was a lot of racket. I said, God, there must be 15 or 20 in there. He didn't tell me which color horse to catch. I opened my door, and there's old Scarface.
Oh, God.
Hey, she come at me, them ears pinned back. My alligator didn't have nothing on her. Right before she got to me, I just slammed the door on her. I walked back up there. But he said, Muscles, go down there and catch her. Go down there and catch the next horse around me. And that's how it come about. He done it. And I walked back up there and smarted me. I threw that halter down. I said, if you want her, you go down there and catch her. I ain't fooling with her. And boy, she was bad.
Oh, she was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
You know, your daddy and Mudlock is the only, I guess, person that ever touched her.
She wasn't worth it.
You know.
She earned that scar on her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what was the grass man's name, the colored guy that worked over anyway,
I know him, but I can't think of it. That's just one other thing.
I know.
can't
But
think.
anyway, he got in the round pen with them for some reason. Mudlock talked him into getting in there with them because her old feet was long. They wanted to trim her. Bill had a rope. Mudlock had a rope. And I forget what the colored guy's name was, but anyway, she made one round and that mouth open. Well, he made one step. What was that, 8-foot round pen or 10? It was
High.
tall. It was high.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah,
You
I
couldn't
bet
see
8
over
foot,
it.
Yeah.
But he took one step and he was out. Mudlock said, come on. What was his name? But anyway,
Oh, Lord.
he
I
said,
can't
come
remember.
on back and help us. He said, Mr. Mudlock, you're going to have to fire me. I'm not getting back in there. And so, and then Mr. Phillips come down there and he told me, he said, guys, I'd rather you didn't do that anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And Mudlock said, that's fine.
That's-
He said, next time they want trimming, I'll run them up and down the road, that gravel road. So, you know. But, you know, she was the mother of Ben Bars.
Oh, yeah. She's bad. She's a bad actor.
Hey,
She was a bad actor.
and it,
So she was an excellent broodmare then.
Good broodmare, yeah, but you
good
couldn't handle her. She come off the 4.6s, and they never handled her in her life. And she didn't want none of it now either. And that's just fine. Just like that day when Mr. Phillips left, Matlock just throwed the gate open on that lot, and he said, right down 16 head trimmed.
that's right.
He just opened the gate and let them out. BF didn't want them rough housed, that's fine. Get some gentle ones if you want them. But otherwise, you're going to get hurt trying to work on them. once in a while you could take Scarface and get another horse right beside her and reach under the gentle horse and pick her foot up. She'd stand there if you didn't scare her.
See, that happened over one day across the road. We went over there, and your daddy told me, he said, catch that gentle mare right there. And, you know, that's when Mr. Phillips and Mr. Scarborough was partners. And he said, you catch that gentle mare, run her over in that corner, and I'll crawl under her and trim this other one's feet.
That's it.
I thought, well,
Yeah.
I've never in my life doubted anything that he ever said that he could do with a horse.
You knew he had done it before, but you know, there's a lot of people, even today, can't touch one like we're talking about. It's because they don't know how. If you know how to handle them, it's really not a big chore. Yeah, it's a chore.
Right.
It's tough when you got one that don't want it. But if you know how to handle them, it's a different deal, ain't it?
Doyle, and you know, the thing of it is, people, you try to explain to the people what he would use on them
Yeah.
to make it work.
Yeah,
Well, how did he know? I don't know.
the experience.
But he just told me to use this.
Yeah.
And that's,
And he had an innate ability.
He did.
He was a good horseman,
Yes, sir.
a real good horseman.
I can tell you what was wrong. Him or probably Doc Hardy were two of the people that I would ever remember being around that could tell you more about horses and how to fix them if they were sick. Your dad was dang near just to me was as good as a vet. Knew,
Now, Joey, he's pretty close because
yeah.
there was a reason for that. Now, when I was little, and even before I was born, my grandfather had a bunch of horses and mules. And at one time he had 150 teams. And they run in the lake bottom there, Lake Dallas, where Lake Dallas is now. That wasn't a lake then. It was a drain area for Big Elm Creek, or
Yes.
Elm Creek. It runs right past here.
Yes, like an overflow.
Yeah, and you could lease, and he leased that land from the state of Texas. But he had 150 teams of horses and mules. Now, you couldn't work a horse with a mule or a mule with a horse. You could work a mule with a mule and a horse with a horse.
No vice versa.
That's right. And he would lease those animals to the state for $1.50 a day for a team. And the state of Texas would give him another additional 50 cents if he could furnish a teamster for the team, because they figured you get that much more work done
Was someone that knew.
with a team that understood the man and the man understood the team. Not a different person every day.
Correct. And they would do what with these horses? So like mowing and.
Like the road that goes from Denton to McKinney, that McKinney Road, now it was 380, and well, I guess now it's 380. It was Highway 24 in the beginning. It was a dirt road, gravel road from here to McKinney. They built that with his horses and mules, and that road now it's 380 now. That the first road was built with his team, and that was good money then. But Terry Bradshaw can tell you about this. My grandfather got shingles. I don't know how you get shingles, but he got shingles, and he couldn't do any work at all. He couldn't even turn in the bed. They'd have to take a sheet and turn him with the sheet. That's how bad his body was, just riddled with this shingles. And so he lost all of his contracts and all with the team, with the state, you know, to build the road. But that's how they got started shoeing. Because if you got 150 teams, that's 300 head of animals. Then you got to have a support group behind them. Because out of 300 head, you're going to have several that are sick or lame or have a baby or, you know, whatever. So you got to have a support group behind them. Now, when that team leaves every morning, they got to go to work. Well, you got to be able to work them. They got to be broke enough that you can, put them whatever condition, you know. So they learned a lot about tending animals and breaking them and training them and teaching them, even if they didn't know how to do it. They had to learn. And you put one that's not gentle with one that is gentle and start them out like that, you know. And after a while, you learn a lot about, and plus, as you mentioned, somebody's got to treat those animals when they're sick. Well, back when I'm 75 now, 70 years ago, how many veterinarians you think were in the country? None. No veterinarians. So
You had to learn.
yeah, you had to learn how to treat them to keep them going, you know, in order to operate in a fashion that you could make money with them, you know.
Well, if you did have vet, you probably couldn't afford to take them to them because that was a luxury.
Exactly, or you didn't have time because your animals had to work, and if you had one that was lame or sick or something, somebody had to take care of that while you took care of these ones that had to go.
So now that's the ones that lived on Blagg Road, correct? Out by
Yeah,
where y'all were on, or
Yeah.
out by Grissom Road.
my
right?
my grandfather lived on that road. Well, actually, that's Trinity. I think
Yeah.
they call it
Yeah.
Trinity.
Trinity, yeah.
My
Yeah.
grandfather lived
Dad showed
on
me,
Trinity,
yeah.
but his brother lived on the corner of Trinity and Blagg Road. That was my granddaddy's brother, Bill Blagg. And that's my daddy was named after him.
How it come about, you and Bill Russell was going hunting. Oh, what y'all come down there for? I guess kerosene for some reason. For what, I don't know. It had to have been kerosene because everybody was selling gas at that time, but we had no pump, but we sold kerosene there. Yeah. And
They're down by Uncle Good you're talking about?
yeah, across the street there.
Yep.
Oh. And then and I don't remember when Jerry Ronald come in the picture. No, y'all played ball together. That's what it was. You were the hind catcher and he was the pitcher till he throwed his arm away. You know, he could,
Oh, my Lord.
what was that old curve that he throwed that, or a drop? What was it? Huh?
Anything. He
It
could
was
throw
just
any
like
damn
it would
thing.
come off a plate
Yeah.
and you just, I guess it was a curve, I guess, you know.
I played ball in school. This was a high school or like after
Summer. These were summer leagues we had in right there on Bell Avenue, that City Park right there.
Right there, yeah.
McKenna
Civic
Park
Center.
or Civic Center Park. Yeah, Civic Center Park.
Civic Center Park. Yeah, but it wasn't called that then.
No,
But
it
that
was,
Quakerson.
City Park.
Oh, called City Park.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now was
Oh.
a swimming pool there? What swimming pool wasn't there then?
No,
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 oh,
no,
no.
We had
There was
several
a-
baseball fields there.
It was a little league and a pony league. was all they had.
And that was when Uncle Good, was that when Uncle Good had his restaurant, I guess?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
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 And
But
so, 'cause y'all
anyway-
lived at that time back behind the restaurant there, right?
The what?
Y'all lived there by the restaurant, right?
Yeah,
Uncle Good's,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that'd have been when?
But your house faced Bell Avenue, right?
No, sir, McKinney.
Oh, it faced McKinney?
Yeah.
Because I thought it faced Bell. McKinney was
No.
over here.
At one time, Uncle Good's house moved and faced McKinney. I meant Bell, yeah.
Yeah.
Their house did.
Okay.
But that's when Gail was still in school. Well, I mean, was still at home.
Oh, I
Well,
see.
all of us was at home. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
we lived on McKinney, and she lived on Bell Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yes, it
I
has.
was trying to
A long
remember.
time. Then I
Yeah.
guess that's when Jerry Ronald come in the picture. Then I guess.
Billy and George, Inez, and
Anna.
the oldest sister, what's her name?
Francis.
Francis.
Yeah, yeah,
Doyle.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's getting on back there, so.
Doyle.
I thought I was doing pretty good when I got Inez's name out.
Well, you did. You done good.
I thought I got pretty
Done
good.
real good.
So now at that time, y'all lived there on Bell, and then y'all still lived over there on your place, where your dad's
Down on
place
Duncan
is?
Street,
On
yeah.
Duncan Street.
Yeah,
1220 Duncan.
Duncan Street.
that's it. That was down there in the country.
382
It seemed like it was-
6329.
Can you believe that? That's it,
That
too.
was, yeah,
That was the number.
that was the number.
The first number we had was a party line.
Yeah, yeah.
1928J. Can you believe that? That I can still remember that. And I can't remember my damn name.
Get well, dog, but
But I can
still.
remember that phone number. Can you believe that? And you remember that other.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Hey,
I don't know how in the hell you
called it every day. You'd have to remember it,
did. That's it.
you know.
That's
And
it.
if we didn't go, I remember him calling your dad, talking to your dad.
Yeah.
But you didn't talk over 5 minutes.
No.
I don't give a shit who you called, who you talked to.
Or what you're talking about.
If you called, talk to anybody over 5 minutes, you need to go see them.
Exactly.
That's
And
what
he'd
he'd
tell
tell
you. That's what he'd tell you. I remember
Yeah,
you
I'm more saying
Yeah.
you need to go. That's right.
You need to go visit him.
They should still have that
And
restriction.
he wasn't joking.
No.
He was not joking.
No, it didn't matter.
That boy was serious.
Hey, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
No.
every day. Dress the same, them khakis, and have them, when it was time to work, put his chinks on.
He didn't have to worry about matching the shirt with the pants and
Every
nothing.
day.
Shit, no. Just
All
give
my
me-
life.
Give me some of them khakis. That's easy.
Every
buddy.
day. Starch khaki. Always,
That's it.
always.
Oh yeah, he was dressed.
Everywhere,
He'd,
anywhere you
he'd
want
go
to
to a wedding
I
or
was
a
gonna say,
funeral
yeah.
with his khakis on.
He
Hell
would.
yeah.
He would. He
Yeah.
would. And that's what we learned, and April still lasts, was when we come in, you took your hat off. It didn't matter if it was a cap or if it was a hat.
Now, he always wore an engineer's hat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But when you walked in that door,
A striped, a blue and white stripe was one I remember him always wearing.
Yeah.
that's all I remember. Ever.
Yeah, and they're easy to take care of because if they get wet and sweaty, you just put them in the horse trough and wash them out and put it back on.
Yeah.
That's how easy that was.
Wasn't no problem.
Yeah.
None
Well, it was all
whatsoever.
about ease with it. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Your dad, before you did it, he had already thought about it, and if you asked him, he already had an answer.
You
And,
got
and,
it.
and it was, that's why we're going to do it. And like I said, you didn't argue.
No,
And if you did, you only did it once.
he was plain as could be, but he was serious.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But he never, and what I remember, I mean, he was so good to us that he never raised his voice, but it was that sternness, like I say, in his voice.
He didn't have to.
No.
You knew.
Watched his daddy one time they had in the dog pen, remember, had them old boat posts, and there was bees in that post, and they got after, might have been me and Brad, and I watched his daddy shooting bees in half with the 22. Standing in the driveway, shooting at that post and shoot them bees in half with a 22 rifle.
He could shoot that dude.
Yes, sir. He could drive packs with it.
He was good at it. And he liked to shoot them with a BB gun too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had a little, my mother called it a chicken trough. We'd made a little trough in the ground out of concrete.
I remember
and
that. Yeah.
fill it up, and the chickens would come up there and drink out of it. Well, when in the hot summertime, it was a popular spot for yellow jackets and wasps.
Right.
They wanted to come up there and get water. So he'd sit in the shade there, had a little tree there close to it. He'd sit in the shade there, take his BB gun and pick them off. When they come there and light on that water, bam! That's it.
But see, that was entertainment. That
Oh, yeah,
wrestling,
he liked
that was
to do
wrestling.
that.
You didn't miss wrestling.
Yeah, I know.
Every
Yeah,
Saturday
no.
night.
That was the first, wrestling was the first show the whole community out there where we lived. Do you remember Weldon Watson?
Yeah.
Okay, he lived right up there by the railroad track. Well, they were the only, I'll take this back, Robert Burns and his daddy had a dang TV. First one I ever saw. Had a round screen on it, about like that. And the only thing you could get on Wednesday night was wrestling. That was it. And that dang people from all over that area would come to their house to watch wrestling on Wednesday night. And they'd make popcorn balls. You ever had a popcorn ball? That was the entertainment.
But it was good entertainment.
Oh my God! And you what that? And I'd laugh at these old people. It's like they'd pass the popcorn balls and a glass of water or a can of water and never take their eye off of the wrestling. You know.
On the screen this big and now they're huge. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it started out a dang screen about that big, and everybody sit on the floor and watch the dadgum wrestling. Holy mackerel! Yeah, and we didn't even have a TV, but that didn't matter. You go up to Robert Tower or Weldon's and watch the dadgum wrestling.
That's when Jack and Dale lived next door
Yeah, to Weldon.
to Weldon.
Sure did.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now you talking.
sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Don.
And Don, yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
remember
about
Don?
Don.
He's
yeah.
the middle one.
Yeah.
He is a principal of a school somewhere.
Euless.
Euless?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyway, talking about the rice. Daddy, we had that old restaurant down there at Lake Dallas. Your daddy and the fence man was working for Fritz son. So David Von Erich come by the restaurant down there. He said, you want some tickets to wrestling? I said, yeah. He said, how many? I told him. I called Jerry Ronald. I called your daddy. And took him and Brad with us. I asked David, I said, now David, I'm going to take them kids with us. Can we come back there in the back and get their autograph? Oh, no, nobody comes in this dressing room. If you don't wrestle, you can't come in there.
No.
So anyway, we take your daddy. So
Excuse me.
get it. Tell her.
Is this Mickey?
You're right.
We are filming here at the moment. Yes, we are. Okay, bye.
Man, got an iPhone.
talking about, yeah.
He's smarter than Pop. Pop's got a flip phone still.
So,
Yeah, Dad's still got a flip phone.
so anyway, we turn and go by Casa Millana. People in fur coats, Cadillacs, limousines. So Jerry Ronald hollers out, "Is this where they have the wrestling?" Yeah. So, no, it's on up there at the Coliseum. So we get in there. A little while, I look up, your daddy's gone. I look up, where's he going? Back up the dressing room.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. So, anyway, we kept sitting there, and before he went back there, I said, "Bill, you can't get in there." "I bet I can. I'll get in there." I said, "Well, there ain't no doubt he's going to." So the guy standing there at the door said, "Sir, you can't go back there." "What do you mean, I can't go back there?" He said, "I know Fritz von Erich." "Oh, you do?" "Yeah." He said, "If you don't mind, it won't take you long. You go back there and ask Fritz. Tell him that I'm out here." "Would you?" "Well, yes, sir, but it won't do no good." "But I'll sure do it, sir, just to satisfy you." So here Fritz comes, grabs your daddy by the hand. Here they go. Where they go? Back there in the dressing room.
Yeah.
See, he had done known all the wrestlers because that's where they all come out there to Fritz to practice. You know, tonight I'm going to put the sleeper on you and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. You know, so your daddy had done met most of all of them. But we couldn't go in there.
Yeah.
There wasn't no way on God's green earth.
Couldn't go in there
You
because
know.
in the first bout, this guy'd be the good guy and this guy'd be the bad guy. Well, they'd go to the dressing room and they'd switch trunks and put a mask on, and they'd come back and other to be the good guy and other to be the bad guy.
You only had so many of them
And
back
like
then.
Dad said, they Von Erich's at the house. They'd all practice and they'd practice all week what they was gonna do that night for TV. You know, so they had it all worked out. You know, it's crazy. Like the
Boy, them people
limousine
thought that was
pull up
real
up
though,
front.
huh? Them
I'm
little old
telling you.
ladies
Hey,
screaming and
I'm-
hollering.
I'm
But
telling you,
oh.
you could get in a fist fight.
Oh, and them say something about the Von Erichs, one of them little old ladies would beat you with.
throw popcorn all over him and a soda pop that night. He said something about one of them. She just stood up.
Yeah.
Got all over me and Brad. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
mister, you thought you'd
Oh,
shot the president.
yeah.
It's personal.
Hey,
It's
It was-
personal,
And they
baby.
were there every week.
Yeah.
Every week they were there. It was.
But the limousine would pull up front and it'd pick the Von Erichs up and they'd pull off and then they'd go back around the back of the Coliseum and like Bruiser Brody and all the bad guys would get the
Get
limousine
in.
with them and they'd go home.
Yeah.
well, yeah, they had to drink beer and all together.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, just things like that, and you know, he could. A person just don't realize it never was a dull moment. At
A lot of
12:20
entertainment around.
At 12:20 Duncan, it never was for
And you never knew who was going to show up.
thing of it is, he stayed 6 weeks behind horseshoeing horses. And he told the people, if you don't have a day's work, I can't come. Well, what do you mean? I'm gonna spend all day loading and unloading. And when I pull up to a place, I can stay all day and have the same equipment and load it one time.
That's it. That's it.
I guess the furthest we ever went was to Oklahoma. Well, no, Arkansas,
Yeah.
yeah, and then
senator. I was trying to remember his name that owned that place. And then,
Yeah,
then the guy that worked for Matlock, he went to Arkansas, and we used to go up there. Buck, was it Eubanks? Was that his name? No,
yeah, Buck went to
Arkansas.
Arkansas, Hope, Arkansas.
Okay, that's where we used to go.
It's
up
where
there.
he went.
Yeah.
He worked for the guy that, when you were showing Mr. Cajun,
Yeah.
Paul Travis. No, not Paul Travis. He was a highway patrol.
Harold, no. I won't say
No,
Harold Bright,
no,
that ain't right.
No.
God, no.
Doyle, I called him probably 10 years ago, Mr. Travis, and he remembered me. And I was going to go see him when I was going through there, and I never did. Well, anyway, when you come down here showing Mr. Cajun, he had that Leo Sands horse.
Yep.
Paul Travis is the guy that Jerry Wells worked for. Travis Ward.
Travis Ward, that's
That
him.
was his name. Yeah. That's who
That's
it was.
him, by
That's who
God.
it was.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You had the
Yeah.
Travis part right to start
Yeah,
with.
yeah. But anyway,
Travis
and then
Ward,
Buck
yeah.
went to work for him, and Doyle, it was funny. He gave me Buck's telephone. I called him. He didn't know who I was.
I'll be
No,
there.
no.
I'll be
Didn't
there.
have no idea,
I'll be there.
And so at that time he was working at the feed store. He had quit. I guess that old stud, I'm sure he had died since then, but he was working at the feed mill there. Buck was. Buck Eubanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Travis Ward, God almighty, I hadn't thought of that man.
But the coldest I ever was in my life, nearest I froze to death, was at Ryan, Oklahoma.
Oh, my Lord.
Woo! God, Joe. In that old chicken house up there.
Yeah.
Oh,
The hell was that guy's name?
he owned a peach orchard.
Yeah. On the damn beer joint. Still up there, too. The beer joint is.
Beer joint and catfish. Best catfish I ever put in my mouth. Oh,
What's his name?
wait a minute. Every year he had them old horses and standing there, and he said, "Son, don't walk behind that mare." And about that time he took a step, and this mare seemed
Let him have it.
she kicked for 15 minutes. And to this day, she ain't touched that old boy. But when he come out of there, his eyes was as big as saucers. He said, "Mr. Blagg, thank you for telling me." And
Oh, my God.
we got ready to leave. That was when, you cut your shoes off, put them in that water.
Yeah.
Had that bucket.
Quench
Had a little old concrete, only concrete it was here to there. Your daddy said, "Muscle, I'll show you how cold it is." I said, "Hell, Bill, I know. I'm froze to death." He poured that out before it
Run off.
run off. It froze.
God almighty. That's too cold to be worth.
Hard as any ice any freezer ever freeze.
Almighty.
Yeah, Rod Edwards. Son is, I guess, still got it. I'm sure Rod's dead.
He
Don't
probably
you imagine?
is. He probably is.
Well, roping buddy lived up there.
Dick Barrett.
Dick Barrett, yeah.
Yeah, he lived right down the road.
Yeah.
They was all friends of Skeeter. Poor old Skeeter, he ain't with us no more.
Uh-uh.
Oh yeah.
No. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
Yeah, Skeeter died last year. Sure did.
They have enough money to bury him?
I'm sure they did not have to borrow any.
Oh,
He had one field that had 80 oil wells in it. That's just one field.
One field.
Had 80 oil wells in it.
Wow.
Yeah,
at Ryan, Oklahoma.
yeah. Oscar,
Yeah,
Oscar,
yeah.
that's where he lived. Just down the road from Ryan.
What's the difference when you get up there?
When you get up there, Oscar, they don't have a red light. They don't have a post office. They don't have nothing. They used to have a post office there
Right.
at Oscar,
Like Baldwin, they used to have a post office.
but now they don't. There's 2 cats and a black dog that lives there now.
That's all that's left.
That's all
Now,
left.
were these show
It's all
horses, or
stuff
were
in
they just, were they just working horses?
At Skeeter's,
Yeah, up there, where you're talking about in Oklahoma.
Rod Edwards,
Oh, no.
he
son.
just had horses. That's
They
what he
were
had.
horses.
So he made money just off of just selling horses.
Well, there was a time that, people would buy a horse worth the money and break it and, use him on a ranch or used a lot of them on ranches.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they just buy one to ride.
Correct.
And he had a lot of paint horses. Back then, 75 years ago, there was still a lot of Indians in that country. And Indians, nearly all of them wanted a paint horse.
Okay.
And he had them.
Okay.
Now, they didn't spend no money getting them gentle,
No,
but
no.
they had horses, and some of them were pretty nice horses.
Yeah.
I'm not bad, son.
But they were not gentle.
You had to rope them. Hey,
That's it. If you wanted to catch one, you had to rope him. They didn't have the facilities that we have now.
Yeah, yeah.
To-
They weren't in a pen that you go out and put a halter on and.
Or
You
run
had
them
to get
in
on
an
another
alley or something like that, where you could subdue one, get them in a close proximity to where you wanted them, and catch them. No, nothing like that.
So is that where you learned how to hula hound them like that?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
some of them.
you could, some of them you couldn't. Some of them you couldn't even get close enough that Roy Rogers could catch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, they're just that bad.
Yeah.
You know what you're talking about.
It's like the old boy said that some of them horses had, the bunches had 2 or 3 horses in them, and some bunches didn't have any in them. They was wild.
That's right.
Some bunches didn't have any
No,
in them. Yeah, they were
no.
gone. Yeah.
And
Well, that's the
then-
kind of horses he had. Some of the bunches didn't have any in them.
There was a place over at McKinney, Spencer Smith,
Picture Smith, same deal.
that had some wild. Son, you can't imagine. I'll tell you how wild they were. And his daddy figured out how to trim them. Run them in a chute. It's the only way you can get them in there, just like a bucking horse. You had a chute, and you could put a halter on him, and then you blindfolded him. And then on the other side over on the wall, there was some lockers, gym lockers, metal lockers. And the minute you let that horse out of that chute, you pushed him against that wall, and them lockers. He never moved. You could reach down, pick his feet up, do whatever you wanted to. Never kick you, never paw you. He was so scared, he didn't know what was, because he was blindfolded. But that's the only way you could trim them, Wasn't no shoeing, no. No. It wasn't worth shoeing. Really wasn't worth trimming. But Spencer Smith thought they were, so you did.
He was in the junk business,
Yeah,
wasn't he? Him and his
scrap
bro-
iron, yeah,
Him and his brother Martell. That's what they did.
yeah.
Scrap iron. And they made a lot of money.
I think it's still there.
I think it is too.
There at the red light,
His son, I think, still
probably.
got it.
I
Yeah.
bet he did. Yeah. Big outfit. Yeah. But,
That's a long time ago, Gilbert.
oh, dog.
My brother, my dad, and myself worked for B.F. Phillips for probably 35 years. And we started, Gilbert made mention of it a while ago. My dad had a route that he would shoe horses, and he made this route, or we can call it a route, or whatever we want to call it. But every day he'd go to a different ranch or a different town, and he developed this over a period of years. We would shoe horses at home on Sunday.
Okay, because I remember Saturdays.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to explain that to you. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we were out in the country somewhere. But at that time, there was no one that traveled shoeing horses. You had a blacksmith shop.
Okay.
You would carry your horse to the blacksmith shop to get him shod. There was no farriers or horseshoers that went out into the country to shoe horses. And then my mother got tired of not being able to go to church on Sunday because Daddy was working. So she stopped all the Sunday work. Now, you come in on Saturday and work at the shop.
Okay.
And then every other day, you're out
Somewhere.
so we might go to Gainesville, we might go to Crum, Sanger, Saginaw, Prosper, Frisco, Greenville, Decatur, depending on where the people needed him, that's where he'd go. And like Gilbert said, he would not go unless they had a full day's work. And if they had a full day, he'd go there, set up, shoe all day, come back home. And then on Saturday, we'd work at the shop.
Okay.
And which was good, it worked out good. Now, the most we ever did there in one day was 35. And that's a lot of work. But there was a trail ride that went from Dallas to Gainesville, and it was 100 miles. And Denton was about halfway, maybe 40 miles, something like that, from Dallas, where they started in Cockrell Hill in Dallas. And by the time you get that far, if you got a horse with a loose shoe, he don't have that shoe no more. Or maybe if he needs shoeing, almost needed shoeing when you left, now he needs it when he gets to Denton. So it was right on our way. We were right off of the Dallas Highway,
Right.
Yeah, the highway.
77 at that time. And so it was a straight shot for us. But anyway, 35 head of horses, that's a lot of work. And we did it, but gosh almighty, it about killed all of us trying to get 35 head done in one day.
That's you, your dad, and BR?
Yeah. Sometimes Junior was with us. But it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And at that time, we used a forge on every horse. And so you got to heat every one of them shoes and put them on. But we had, in our shop, we could tie a horse here and a horse here with the rear ends facing toward the front. And my dad had two forges right here. And he could sit here, and as you picked the horse's foot up, he could see it. So he'd make a shoe for that foot, whichever. If you started on front foot, when he could see that foot, he could make a shoe to fit it. Then you turn that shoe over and make the opposing shoe. So now you have a shoe for each front foot. When you pick up a back foot, same way.
You showed it to him.
He'll make that shoe, turn it over, and make the opposing shoe. So he can make all 4 shoes while you're trimming that horse. My brother'd be trimming over here, I'd be trimming over here. He'd look at his horse's foot when he picked it up, shape the shoe up. Same way here to back. Actually, he just needed it front and back is all he needed. And he could make the shoes while you were trimming the horse. As you got through trimming,
He's had new shoes.
you just put your shoes down there by the horse, you pick them up. Sometimes you didn't have to do anything to it, just nail it on. Sometimes you have to bring in a heel or close it a little or open it or something. Nail it right on.
But not much.
But he could shape those shoes as you trim the foot. He could shape a shoe for you.
So that, because back then they didn't have like packaged shoes like they have now, right? So he took a stock rod basically.
He could, but by then we had shoes that were already turned,
Okay.
and then they'd have an end on them that long, and you'd have to cut that off to fit, or roll a caulk on it, or cut it off, put a trailer on it, or you might any other definition of heels that you might want to use.
Yeah.
But he could do all of that while you were preparing the feet. He'd know exactly what he needed to do, or you could tell him his horse got a deviation here, and he needs a little of this or a little. He could fix it right there while you were preparing it, and then as soon as you got them trimmed, here come your shoes and nail them on. Yeah, it was a turnkey deal.
Never had to go back to the anvil.
That's what he strived for.
Never after what?
Go back to the anvil
Oh,
to reshape your shoe.
correct.
And he could do it pretty daggum good, couldn't he?
Once you bent down, you stayed there.
Yeah. Well, and I can remember you saying that too, as you were in the latter years saying that once you get bent over, that you don't want to you stay in that position.
That's
Getting
what-
up going, it's hard on it. It's hard enough doing that. I know doing that. I don't see how you did it 57 years.
Yeah,
Shit,
2
I
back
can-
operations later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so now BF at that time he had running horses or
Just ranch horses to start with.
okay.
And I'm sorry, I
No,
got
no.
carried away. You have to bring me back
No,
sometime.
that
But we would go, Phillips Ranch had a number of horses, so
Yes.
we would go there on a regular basis after a while. And so that's how we got started doing his work, was he needed a lot of work done. So we'd make one day for him, special day, to go to his ranch. Now, he had some really good horses, and he had a fellow named Lanham Riley, Matlock Rose, Bill Weston, Bruce Hill, Billy Bush, run that outfit for a while.
So now Matlock rode anything, or he just got into cutters later? Correct.
He trained cutting horses and roping horses when he
Okay.
first started out, and he lived right there in Lake Dallas to start with.
I remember that. Yeah.
And so he knew Phillips Ranch and all that, but he went a lot of places before he went to work there.
Oh, okay.
But after he got to be really prominent, Mr. Phillips hired him, and he had a daughter named Pam that later married Walt. But he wanted her to show and wanted Matlock to help her and teach her how to ride a cutting horse. And Mr. Phillips liked cutting horses too. He liked to ride them, and he was a good hand.
Was he? Okay. Because I
Good.
remember him later. I mean, when before the sale. But God, I was still young then. I was shit. I don't know. I might have been out of school. Maybe.
I don't think so.
But he was up in the years then. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
But by then he'd had racehorses.
Oh yeah,
And
he got
Bubba
in.
had worked for him, and
He got in the oil business, and yeah, he had a racetrack there in Frisco at his ranch for a long time,
Oh, okay.
and that's how he got into the racehorse business. And then later on, he really got into it, and he went to the King Ranch down in South Texas and bought some mares off of them. Actually, he became partners with them. He made a deal with them. He wanted to get some mares and breed them, and then he and the King Ranch would be partners on the colts.
Okay.
King Ranch would furnish the mares, he'd furnish the studs. So they told him, go down there and get 4 mares. Pick out any 4 mares he wanted and bring them back up here. Well, he did. And 2 of them were straight thoroughbreds. One of them was a mare named Find a Buyer. She turned out to be the mother of Dash for Cash. Now, I shod Dash for Cash for 20 years. He was the fastest horse in the world for 11 years. It's taken up a lot of country right there. But this mare was his mother, and BF picked her out, which showed a lot of character and ability in Mr. Phillips to pick out a mare, and she would actually produce a colt like Dash for Cash.
Correct.
Now, she had 4 other colts. I could outrun any one of them.
But that was the luck of horses too, though.
Yeah,
So
that
some
just
of
happens.
it, like you say,
That's the way it happens. We were having dinner one night, and I was probably 15. By the time I knew everything when I was 15. The phone rang, so I get up and answer the phone, and we got one phone and, one ring, and I get up and go answer it. So I come back and sit down, and my dad said, "Who was that?" I said, "Another guy with another crippled horse."
that wasn't a good answer.
He said, "It's taken me a long time to get this business built up like it is right now." But he said, "That's a bad attitude. That man needs help. That's the reason he called here. If he didn't need any help, that phone wouldn't ring. But if somebody needs help, they call here to get help. And the best thing you can do is try to help them." I never had that attitude again. Yeah, that's the reason that phone rings. He said, "If it was easy, your mother could do it.
Yeah, and I remember him saying that. He
Wouldn't
always-
need us. Wouldn't need to call here."
Yeah. They wouldn't come see me. I remember him
No,
saying that.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
If it was easy, anybody could do it. But it's not easy, and everybody can't do it.
Yeah.
You're right.
I don't know if your daddy ever told you, we were at Skeeter's one day, and look up, here comes John Wayne, and what was his partner? Gosh, I get Till Wheel.
Chill wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they showed up down there at Skeeter's, and
This
They
is
were
at
in,
Aledo. You know where that is? Aledo.
they were in a limousine. They pulled up, and Skeeter introduced us to it. It never dawned on me, John Wayne, why do I want to meet John Wayne for? I'd heard of him.
Yeah.
Chill Wheel. Why? And you don't realize out all of this. And, you tell the people that you meet them, well, what proof you got? Well, I don't have none. If all of the times that we had been places and met people,
Yeah.
if we took pictures,
Oh,
You wouldn't believe it.
no.
it'd be unbelievable,
Yeah.
you know. And they open up the trunk of this limousine. They got a case of whiskey in the back. Y'all want a drink? Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, that's not good, but you know, they would take a drink,
Oh,
you know. And-
would they ever? Skeeter be right with them.
Well, yeah, but you know, just people like that, and then, you know, Mr. Binion, y'all done all the work for him, and he told your daddy one time down there at Skeeter's, he said, in the morning, I'm gonna send a limousine to your house, pick you and your wife up, and fly y'all to Vegas. And you can stay as long as you want. Will not cost you a dime. Our plane is free. And your daddy told him, said, Mr. Binion, I've never been on an airplane in my life, but thank you. And you the only guy that ever got your daddy on
On
an
the airplane. And we went to Binions. That's where
Y'all-
we was going.
Before y'all went. And that's when you mashed your finger.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. That's what we were doing. We were out there shooting them stagecoach horses.
I won't tell it why you hit your thumb.
Go ahead.
You know.
I was gonna ask. I didn't know.
Well, okay. What happened? This boy that I forget what his name was. That was driving the stagecoach.
Smith.
Yeah,
Scott Smith.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was going with a lady that sipping velvet, the whiskey. She done the advertisement in the bikini. Well, anyway, she shows up that day to help him clean the stagecoach. Well, Doyle and his daddy was out there shoeing them horses. His daddy, Doyle was working on them, and his daddy said, son, look over there. About that time, Doyle looked over, and she had on that bikini bathing suit, and he hit his thumb with that hammer. Anyway, I shouldn't have said that, but you know, just some of the
Accidents happen.
some of the things that you know happen, and
Oh my God.
but it's amazing the things you learn, you go through, and the people that we met. I mean, it's fantastic, and you just can't explain all of it. People just has to see it and go through it, but
Yeah,
between him and his daddy and his brother, bless his soul, they shot more world champions than anybody in the world.
we had a deal that, well, at one time, Jerry Wells was number one. Frank Merrill was right behind him. Then Matlock was number one. Chip was number one. Then Ted Turner. And then they can't get past Ted. And they had an article on Ted, and he was explaining. They'd asked him about his horseshoer and all this, and he told them that he did in 35 years he'd had one horseshoer, and he had 148 world champions, and I shot every one of them. That's
Yeah.
a lot. That's a lot of world champions.
Yeah, he had them,
Yeah.
and still having them.
Yeah, but he had paints, quarter horses, and
Alps.
apps. Yeah, had a lot of apps.
At one time he
He
did.
damn sure did. Yeah.
But your dad, what he passed on to us, or what I remember, is it didn't matter if you were John Wayne. He treated John Wayne the same as he did
Never met
Sam.
a stranger, and everybody was
Yeah.
the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those kind of people
Didn't treat nobody
appreciated
different.
that.
Yeah. But
like that.
because I can remember being down there and people, like you said, coming on Saturdays. I remember us. That was like a religion for us as kids. It was a play day. But I can remember people coming down there and saying to your dad, or coming up to your dad and saying, "Well, you don't know who I am," and your dad saying, "I don't care who you are. This man right here is who I'm taking care of
That's
right
right.
now.
Yeah.
If I get through and have time to get to you, you will be next.
You'll
But
be
if
next.
not, you're going to have to call me back or come back another day." And it didn't matter who they were.
We had Gilbert and Billy and George, and we all spent a lot of time around our shop. And we had a lot of fun because we made our own fun.
All that.
We'd have as much fun as you can have pitching horseshoes, pitching washers.
But I
Me and
remember
your
y'all-
daddy was never beat. Never. No.
That's
No.
great.
Is he feeling?
Everybody in the world challenged us,
Yeah.
but we were never beat. And the same way with Pollyanna. Me
There
and
you
your
go.
daddy never got beat.
Pollyanna.
You know,
Remember I
when,
got your dad that Pollyanna game for Christmas
Yeah.
one year?
But what
It's a board game.
Okay.
Yeah.
oh, son, it,
And I
you
can
know,
remember going to your mom and dad's and
it,
playing Pollyanna.
They loved it. But old people played games like
That's
didn't
all we
have
had.
TV.
We didn't have nothing else, guys.
Didn't have a
didn't have a
TV.
phone.
Yeah, didn't have a phone. That's right. You had to have
You
some
had that
kind.
one phone on the wall, and that was it.
That's
I
it.
can remember one year, I can't remember whether it was before we married or after we married, that we went to your mom and dad's. It was snowing, cold, and we sat and we played Pollyanna all afternoon long,
Yeah,
you know.
because that's what you did.
Yeah.
You know, that was entertainment.
He
until,
was a teenager.
until Jerry Ronald,
He was in high school before we ever had a second phone.
oh, he could pull more up on anybody, but he'd put them loads in your mother's cigarettes.
Oh, my God.
We would,
Make her madder than a jet.
we would go to wagon sellers, somewhere, where we had been to Ryan, Oklahoma. That's where we had been. We stopped at wagon sellers. That's where they sold them. I'd never seen them before. And Jerry Ronald got him some. So that night, I don't know, we were sitting around playing Pollyanna or Wahoo, I don't remember. But anyway,
Wahoo, I remember.
that was when we were smoking Salems and Camels. And your mother was smoking Salems. But
Oh, yeah.
anyway, he told your mother to go back there and get him something, I don't know. Or something was wrong back in the back. So anyway, he loaded them up and he marked them. And he just laid them over by your mother, and a little while,
She got one.
She got her one.
Oh my.
He punched me and your daddy.
What is?
I don't know how we ever kept a straight face. She lit it. And when she did, she just throwed everything up in the air, table and all. Said, "Oh shit!" And it did. He must put 100 in it, but it blew the whole end of the cigarette out. You know. Oh, I thought, well, Jerry Ronald, you fixing to get it now.
You've done it this time.
Right.
Pop
But
is not much of a fan of it.
she didn't say nothing, you know.
I can't believe that, 'cause yeah.
Anyway,
Probably scared to death.
whoo, Lord.
Me and Stacy did one with Paul one day. We didn't know it was.
And we get
Bel Air.
like Leo Huff. You remember Leo?
Oh, Doyle.
Oh, Leo had a brother, and Martell. I think. Let's see. No, was that not his name? What's Leo's brother's name?
Doyle, I don't remember his brother's
Damn,
name.
I'll think of it here in a minute. Anyway, he said they had a cellar. Every time a cloud come up, his mother made them go to the cellar. Had to get in the damn cellar. And he hated it. He said, I'm scared to death of a snake and a spider anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all there was in that damn.
Jerry Ronald, yeah.
And he said, man, I hated them damn. So anyway, one night they come up out of that cellar, and they lived out there by Ballinger, somewhere out in West Texas. And they had a tornado, and that sucker, he said, it must have been a direct hit. He said, man. So he said, well, we come up out of there, and his Elmer, his brother,
Elmer, that's right.
his brother Elmer, laid that door back on that cellar, and he said, now that's what I'm talking about. If I got to go down in that cellar when I come out, I want to see some shit blown away. He said it was gone, man.
Oh,
Elmer, he lived further south, down by San Antonio, and he had a bunch of goats. Instead of cows, they had lots of goats, thousands of them. And he had about 1,500 head, and they was going to drive them to Abilene. And it's a long drive. And he had a Mexican, 2 or 3 Mexicans that worked for him, and one of them's wife was a cook. And he said, everything she cooked, whoo, partner. She put them peppers in there. Now,
oh,
yeah, we talking about hot, everything. So they ate breakfast before daylight. She had a big bunch of them dadgum eggs and peppers and, the whole deal. So they hit the road, and about 9 o'clock, this Elmer rode up to Leo, and he said, if you'll push these goats on, I said, I've got to go to the bathroom. So he rode over the side of the road and did number 2. They go on to Abilene, and it was cold. And they come back that evening, right back where Elmer gone to the bathroom. He looked over and he said, there's a set of cow warming his feet.
that was Leo.
That was hot.
Oh, no.
They said a cow warming his feet. Yeah. One big change is the price of the animals, Back when Gilbert and I were talking about going to Oklahoma, going to different places where horses weren't very expensive and they didn't bring a lot of money. Well, now that's reversed now. You got horses now, a lot of them that are worth $1 million. And the people that own those horses, they're not about to let somebody get underneath one of them that doesn't have the knowledge to take care of the job anymore. Back then, it was just get the job done, cut the long part of the foot off and put a shoe on it, and didn't have to be pretty, just had to be fashionable or usable when you got through. Well, now that's not the case. Now they want them to look pretty and also be functional and operate. So you got to have the best of both worlds. And now if you have a horse that can really run, a fast horse, we had last year our first Triple Crown winner in 47 years, something like that.
73?
So, you know, now it's the needs and the abilities of the farrier have changed. Now you're called upon to be, well, they put me in the Hall of Fame in 2010, and that was quite an honor for me. I was proud to do that, to be put in the Hall of Fame. But people are looking for people that have the certification and the knowledge to handle these higher priced animals.
It's a skill, and it's a trained skill, and somebody that can do it. If you've got a problem horse, they don't have to do them.
Yeah.
They
Well,
let somebody else that's learning work on that horse. I'm going to work on the good horses. That's kind of how it is now. They don't have to, you don't have to shoe everything that's led to you anymore. That's one thing that's changing. If you can sure enough do it and do a good job, then you can pick your clientele. You can call your clients. Yeah. If they've got 100 head and they got 3 that are bad, well, you can go do 78 of them, and hey, somebody else gets to do the rest of them. I ain't touching.
There you go.
And they're bold enough to tell them that too. I'm not touching. I'm not getting under him.
Yeah.
Don't bring him up here.
Yeah, you're right. We don't have the horsemen that we used to have. We had a horseman. My dad was a good horseman. And he taught Gilbert and me and my brother and Jerry, the kids that hung around with him.
Well, just us. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot I learned with horses just watching him.
He taught them what he knew.
Yeah.
And it was like Bubba Casio told this guy that he was telling him what they were talking about. A guy got his horse out running. He said, "Well, Bubba, you taught him all you know." And he said, "No, I taught him all he knows, but I didn't teach him all I know."
Exactly.
That's
Yeah, he got outrun, but there's still some more he could learn. Taught him all he knows, didn't teach him all I know.
That's right.
Yeah. But my dad was a good horseman.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference when you got a horseman doing the job you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. A horseman can do it even if it's difficult.
Yeah.
But if you're not a good horseman, you might not get the job done. Benny Binion's wife was named Teddy Jane. So he took her name and the initials of TJ, and that's what he branded all the horses at his ranch with.
Okay.
He's got probably, well, he's dead now, but when he died, he probably had 300 or 400 head of geldings at his ranch in Jordan, Montana. And they all branded with a TJ. Everybody in that country knows the TJ horse comes from Benny Binion's. Now, he raised some good horses, but they were all bucking horses. Even the good ones would buck when you started them. Now they have the Benny Binion horse and bull sale at the national finals. But he liked bucking horses, and he raised bucking horses and sold them to Harry Vole and Butler Brothers, and he didn't want to buck any horses, but he liked raising them. And he liked seeing them guys getting thrown off.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I flew up there. He had Scott Smith was driving them stagecoach horses. They have a rodeo in Las Vegas called El Dorado Days. That's the name of it. Started in 1947 with Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. First parade they ever had there for the rodeo. That was their deal. Anyway, Benny made a deal with all the city officials. Anybody that worked for the city of Las Vegas. If you want to ride in the parade for El Dorado Days Rodeo, I'll furnish you a horse. All you gotta do is get on him. He had 35 takers. So he called me, said, I need you to go to Jordan, Montana and shoe some horses for me. Okay. I'd done a lot of work for him, and I knew there's one thing good about that man. There's a lot of things, but that check was good. When he wrote the check, it was good. So, I need you to go. Fine. When do you need me? He told me. I'll be there. So I flew to Billings, took a little hop over to Jordan, and shod horses there for 1 week. Now, it didn't take a week to do 35 head, but with him hauling you around and showing you things around, the Indians used to come to his. Now, Jordan, Montana is right south of Canadian border. Indians used to come out of Canada down to his place and steal horses and mules and cows and steers and stuff. And he said he put up with it because he didn't want no problem with the Indians, and most of what they stole was something to eat.
Starter.
Yeah. So anyway, I did 35 head there for him. They were all going to that daggum rodeo, and he had his grandson Steve was there. Steve, he had 4 bunches of mares and 4 stallions, 1 stallion with each bunch of mares. Turned out, he had 300,000 acres in Jordan, Montana. And these studs, they didn't have any fences between these mares and studs. They were loose, wild, just like Mustangs. Well, a couple of studs got together. And you talk about getting beat up and cut up, and I mean, it looked like you'd had a Bowie knife after them. That's how they were cut up, and just from the hooves and the teeth, they were bad. Anyway, so they gathered all this was all while I was there that week. And his grandson, Steve, was riding a Palomino stud, and he brought him down there, and he said, can you shoe this horse for me? I said, you bet I can. He said, I've been riding him 12 and a half miles every day. And his feet was wore off as slick as that table right there now. Every day, 12 and a half miles, checking these mares and studs. That's how long the circle was. 12 and a half miles back to the barn every day.
That's a long way.
And he said, do you know who Billy Bob Thornton is? I said, yeah. He owns Billy Bob's in Fort Worth. I said, that's right. He said he called my granddad and told him he needed a real classy, flashy horse to ride in the Fort Worth Stock Show Parade. And Benny said, I got him. You do? He said, yeah, I got him. Well, he said, I want a real pretty one. He said, I got him. When do you need him? Fort Worth Stock Show Parade. I'll have him ready. 4 years old. Never been bridled. Never been led. 4 years old. So he brought him down there to Steve, his grandson, put him to riding him. And like I say, he'd been riding him every day. Well, that sucker was tired, and when you tied him up,
He knew.
He tied, dropped his head, that was it. So I pick up his front feet, stood there like a shot dog. So I put me 4 shoes in the fire in the forge. Every horse you shoe there, you got to run them shoes through the forge. Suits me fine. That's the way I started. So I put me 4 shoes in there and I shape them up, cut off the front ones and cut off the back ones and shape them just like I want them. I go over and I pick up the right front foot, like that. I bend over there and I set my shoe on, get it just like I want it, start driving a nail. He kicked me on the shoulder. Now I still got his foot between my legs. He ain't never moved his foot. I start me another nail. Kick me on the shoulder again. I kind of move over a little bit. Start tapping that nail. He kicked my cap off. The cap hit the floor. He put his foot in it. I still got his foot right here. He never moved his foot between my legs. This son of a gun could kick like a deer. It's like
Oh,
I never.
So, I go up the hill. Now the area, the shop that I'm working in is like down like this, behind in the side of a mountain. The shop is down here. If it's snowing and blowing, all that goes over this way. Nothing down here. You can work in a blizzard where I am. That's how well protected you are. They have to be that way in Montana because it gets cold there.
And it snows sideways.
And it snows sideways. You got it. So anyway, so I go up on top of the hill. Now they got up working pins up here. And I'm talking about working pins. The corner posts are telephone poles. That's what the corner post is. So they're hell for stout. That's everything they got is made to be here next year too. So I go up there, and the cow boss there, his name was Slim Whaley. He worked for Benny for probably 30 years. And I said, Slim, that yellow horse of Steve, he ain't not near as wild about getting them shoes on as Steve is about getting them put on him. He said, will he kick? I said, you ain't joking. Well, he knew he would kick, because evidently he'd had his hand on him too. He said, fix your shoes and bring him up here and I'll fix him where you can nail them shoes on him. That's just what I wanted to hear. So I go up on the hill. Well, you ever seen a horse hobble behind?
I've seen him do it.
Well, I thought I had seen about everything, but I hadn't. I had never seen a horse hobble behind. I've seen them hobble in front. Hobbled thousands of them myself.
that's right.
Never hobbled behind. He brought him up there, got him right where he wanted him, and he had some hobbles made out of buffalo hide. Benny has got a herd of buffalo on this place. He's got hobbles made out of buffalo hide. They are tough. And they won't, that's right, and they won't skin a horse up, won't eat the hide off of him. They're leather, buffalo leather. Anyway, so he got around the side of this horse and he just take that hobble and just whip it around his legs like that. You know, he kicked and kicked and he just kept doing it until he quit kicking. Then he pulled it around here and hobbled him, tied that hobble, and took a nylon rope and tied in the middle of those hobbles. Backed him up against one of them telephone poles, tied that nylon rope to the bottom of that pole. Now you can show him and he won't kick. Well, he didn't. That sucker stood there like he was dead. Now he'd been hobbled before. He knew. He knew he couldn't
wasn't
get
his
out.
first rodeo.
No.
It's like candy.
Hell no. So I shot his front feet, and I figured out why he was kicking me. I had longer hair then, and it was sticking out underneath my cap. Just enough that he could feel it. And he just like him kicking at a fly, like that. That's what
That's what he was kicking
That's
at.
what he's kicking at. He's kicking at my hair. He wasn't trying to kick me. My hair was touching him on the side.
You didn't like it.
It
And
was
he
bothering
Didn't
me.
like it.
He was kicking just like it was a fly biting him. He never hurt me, never hurt himself. But that son of a gun, hey,
Oh,
he had
got
me
your cap
ducking
off.
had me ducking and diving. I'm doing. But he could do that and never move his foot right here. He just reach up there and do it.
Dog, you never hear of it.
Well, no, but
I
I'm
mean,
talking about these
right.
horses. These ain't everyday kind of horses I'm talking about.
No,
Wow,
no,
yeah.
they
They're
don't.
wild.
Wow.
They're just wild as a deer. And that's just the way he was.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. But anyway, he got that horse down there to Billy. But that boy, Steve, was riding it. The reason he was up there was a guy come into the horseshoe there in Las Vegas. It was a card counter. And he left there with $86,000. Benny told Steve was a security guard over there. He said, I want you to go get that money off that son of a... He said, what if he don't want to give it up? He said, it ain't none of his business what he does now. You get that money back here. And he did.
Yeah.
A couple of days later, that man passed away.
Oh,
So that's why Steve was up there riding them horses.
Out of sight, out of mind, you ain't gonna come find him up
He
there.
had to get out of Las Vegas, and he was out there riding horses on that dang ranch.
Who's gonna come out there?
And ain't nobody coming out there.
Not with that, hey.
I used to go to national finals every year when he had the horseshoe there. And Jan Jones, you know Jan? Jan went out there with me one year. And George Strait was playing at the Gold Nugget. Gold Nugget's right across the street from the horseshoe where we stay at. So we left the rodeo and we was gonna go see George Strait. So they got a line of taxis. You can get a taxi just, So we went out there and got in the taxi line. We could have rode in a limousine, but we didn't want to. We wanted to take a taxi and get there in a hurry right after the rodeo was over. Okay. That's what we did. And we got a damn taxi driver that tried to wreck us. I mean, that son of a bitch, when he left there, he just slammed me back against the damn seat. Anyway, Jan, he had some comments. And anyhow, we got down there to the Gold Nugget. The cab driver pulled in right beside the horseshoe, Gold Nugget across the street. Pulled in there and stopped. That was just fine. So we got out. And he said something about a tip.
He shouldn't have.
And Jan said, I got a tip for you.
That's a bad thing.
Yeah. And he said some things to him. And anyway, he just hooked him right up to the end of the street. And the mint is right straight ahead from the horseshoe. Horseshoe's right here, the mint's right here. He pulled up to the mint and stopped.
Bad thing.
I got there before he could get the door open. Jan passed me like dash for cash. He was ahead of me. Grabbed that sucker around the head and drug him in the mint. And then drug him back out and did a few choice things. So then we leave him, we go back down to the horseshoe, and one of the security guards was standing at the door when we got there. he's a big dude. Jan said I had to look up to him because he was that much taller than I was. Anyway, Jan said, we're going to wait right here because the police probably going to be here in a minute. And he said, what for? He said, well, we had a little trouble with a taxi driver up here. And I'm sure they're going to be here looking for us. And he said, y'all go on in. He said, well, if the police come, he said, police don't come in here. I said, what? No, police don't come in here at all. We have a problem, we take care of it right here ourselves. As far as I know, you haven't created any problem here. If you create a problem at the Mint, that's up to them to take care of that. So y'all go on and have a good time. The police won't be in here. And he wasn't joking.
They wasn't.
No, hell
Wasn't no way.
no. No, y'all go on, have a good time. Won't be no police coming here. They don't come in here. So,
See
okay.
that? That again, our Mr. Dodge, you know, he would go up there. And he said that they were all down in Benny's office. Him and I don't remember Madlock. I don't know if Madlock or whoever was with him was down there talking to Mr. Benyon, and one of the guys that bodyguards come down there and said, Mr. Benyon, we got a problem. What kind of problem you got? He said, we caught this guy stealing. He said, what do we need to do? And Mr. Dodge said, while they were sitting there, Benny told him, he said, just take that knife over there and cut off all of his fingers, and he won't be back no more. He won't steal no money here. He said that. He said, here's your finger, see you. But nothing ever said, nothing, you know. Whew. He said all that guy done just kind of screamed a little bit, you know. But they wasn't bothered with him anymore. So,
But he was one of the founders of Vegas, that too. That's the other deal. He built.
it'll come to you
Yeah, I have.
when you ain't
Well, this
thinking.
damn thing was here, I can't, sometimes my short-term memory's not there, just not there. I might think of it tomorrow. But right now, the harder I try to think, the worse.
The
it-
farther it goes away. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't have to get 75 to do that.
I hope to live that age, sir.
Well,
Hope I'm blessed and still getting around the way y'all do at your age.
Well, thank you.
it's,
You were a kid. It was you and Runt and somebody else on horses, and y'all were going to catch the train.
we're not gonna rob it.
You're going to
Rob the train.
Tell that story, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all was in grade school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Robert E. Lee. You know where that is?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We used to ride our horses up there to the school and tie them to the telephone poles. But there was a kid there, Runt and I had this deal worked out where we'd rob the train. Now that, over there, now there I am again trying to think, name the damn road. The municipal, it's electric,
Spencer Road.
Spencer Road. What the hell they call that electric, the
Yeah.
power plant there?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's always steam coming out of it or something.
Yeah,
We told the kids that was a cloud factory.
yeah.
because it looked like
Made
cloud.
all the clouds.
Yeah.
Well, it was.
It was a cloud factory. That was-
I remember you telling us that when we were kids. That was a cloud factory.
Yeah. So we had this kid in elementary school. We was probably 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that. That we was robbing the train when he come through Red Rock Canyon. That's what we called it.
Right.
So he got all stirred up, and he had a horse, and so we talked him into bringing his horse to go with us. He could help us rob the train. So here we go. We get up on the Red Rock Canyon, and the railroad run down through the middle of this dude. It was just like in the movies. Here comes the railroad, here comes the train, and so we come down on the track, we're gonna run up here and rob the train. Well, he's with us. And he runs his little dumb ass right up there and gets on the train,
Just like in the movies.
just like in the movie. But there was one part of this story we forgot to tell him. We never could get our horses up to the train. We could run them close to it, but they wouldn't get up to the train. So we couldn't get off on it. But he run right up there, got off, got on the train, and the train carried him off. Now here he goes. He's gone. We're sitting down here horseback. Well, I run to get his horse. Well, that sucker like to jerk me off 3 times because he wouldn't lead a step. You couldn't lead him.
Catch a train on him, but you couldn't lead him.
You could, yeah. So, well, I couldn't turn him loose because we had to have. Oh my Lord! So, next only thing we could think of is, what are we going to tell his mother? What are we going to tell his mother? He come down here to ride the train with us, and he's gone. We don't know where the train goes. Can you imagine 2 kids? That
5th grade, yeah.
the train is leaving, and we don't know where that train goes.
He's on the side of us.
And our friend is on it. Yeah. And he's waving at us like this.
Come on, guys. I'm waiting for you.
Yeah. Oh,
Was he
my
really waving?
Yeah, so you can imagine the dilemma. Now he's gone. The train is gone and he's on it. So we finally get this little stupid horse to leading a little bit. So we ride into Denton to the depot. You know where the depot
Yeah,
is?
sure, well, right where I work, yeah.
And there he was. He was sitting there at the depot.
Oh.
Yeah, they had stopped and he got off.
Thanks, guys.
Without robbing the train.
Yeah.
Without robbing.
So here we ride into town. There he is.
What took you so long?
And he don't know how happy we are to see him.
And hand him his horse.
Yeah, and give him his horse. We had reluctantly forgot to tell him that our horses wouldn't get up close enough to the train.
Think if he hadn't have been off, what you'd had to tell his mama and your mama when
Yeah.
you got home.
Yeah, what would
That's
we?
who I'd have been more scared of.
So we was glad we did not have to tell his mama
He was somewhere
Yeah.
robbing the train and
that
you
he
don't
was
know
gone.
where.
We lost him. He's on the train. Well, where'd he go? Well, we don't know. Well, what do you do with the train?
And like I say, I can see you having to come home and tell your dad, "Ooh, oh, it
we
would
had
not
him.
have been."
We had him and then we lost him.
Yeah.
We was this close.
We was this close.
Yeah, he went off on the train.
'Cause,
My dad had a customer, a client, that this is back before automobiles, okay? Didn't have tractors. And this guy worked for the county. He's mowing the ditches and right away, you know, like they do now with the sickle mow, all that, you know. Well, back then they used horses and that's all they had. Well, this guy had a team of a team of mares, gray mares, and they were sisters, full sisters. Oh, and they were pretty little old mares. But them some guns was goofy as a god dang pair of cats if you didn't keep them side by side. They ate together, slept together, worked together, and if you took one away from the other, oh. It was absolute pandemonium. Couldn't do that. They just
Jim
go.
would say they was queer for one another.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so they had it figured out. My dad told him, you work them all day. And on your way home, drive them down here to my shop and we'll shoe them. That way they good and tired and they won't be monkeying around when you get ready to shoe them. They'll stand. Okay. Now, my dad knew that this man was coming. And my dad had a bunch of chickens, fighting chickens. And he had some good ones too. And he had roosters and hens. Now them game hens, they're gonna go off out here and steal them a nest off out here somewhere. They ain't gonna lay in the chicken house like normal chickens do. No, they going out here, they wild. Well, we had chickens, hell everywhere, So he gave me 2 buckets. One bucket was half full of water, the other bucket was empty. Now, when you run on and there'll be a nest, it'll probably have 20, 30 eggs in it where they're setting them. Now, you pick an egg up and drop it in the water. If it floats,
No good.
it's getting ready to hatch. And them eggs are, they don't smell good, So then, if it drops down in the water, you put it in the other bucket. Bring it in the house. Don't bring in one of them rotten eggs. My mother breaks one of them rotten eggs in the morning about 5 o'clock.
You gonna know about it.
Ain't nobody gonna be happy around there. But she ain't putting up with that stuff. That's the reason we got the water. You
Okay.
drop it in the water. If it floats, get rid of it. If it don't float, put it in here. Bring it to the house. Okay, we got it. So, he put me out there gathering these eggs. So if this old man comes in with these 2 mares, he don't want me monkeying around there with them horses because he knows I'm going to get into something before he get them 2 mares done. Because I had me a bow and arrow that I had made. I had a friend that was half Navajo, and he showed me how to make a bow and how to make arrows. And we made some pretty fancy ones too. Made me a quiver, put on my back, put them arrows in. Yeah. So my daddy put me together in his eggs when this guy come in. You get on out there and I give them eggs, so we're going to work with the mares. So it all worked out good for a while. And I run up on this nest, man, it was big. This old hen was just sitting up on top of them eggs. There's so many of them, she couldn't cover them. There's eggs everywhere. So I run up there and kind of kicked her off of the eggs and reached in there and got me 2 or 3 and put in the water, and I was separating them. And here she comes, she run up there and jumped up and hit me on the leg. She flogged me real hard. Hey, get back, get her out of here. Kicked her back out of the way. She went back off out there a little bit, and here she come again. That dang jumped on me again. Oh, crazy old thing. I reached and got one of my arrows and with the arrow knocked her a little bit. So I get in there and I get the eggs, and then here she's over here strutting and she's mad, and here she come back again, run at me again. I knocked her off with my bow that time. Knocked her back off out there. She got out there and kind of bowed up again. And thought, man, that'd be a good place for us. Get me an arrow. I'll shoot her with my dadgum bow and arrow. Well, so I did. Let her go. Well, I didn't hit her. The arrow just went right under her wing, and she just clamped down on it like that. Here she went. She took off, and that arrow was on the ground. She's making a racket like that. And where you think she went?
To that barn.
The chicken house are right beside where he's shooting these mares. Here that dang chicken goes right up to that mare. Oh my Lord. Yeah. So then he hollers, "Dog!" I started running after that chicken until I saw where the chicken was going. So that's when I turned and went back the other way. And I had like, I could not hear him when he was like, "Dog!" I couldn't hear him. Then in a minute I figured, I better answer him. So I did. "What do you want?" "I want you. That's why I'm calling your name. Come over here." Yeah.
You didn't say what you want.
Oh my Lord. And I got over there. He said, "Did you shoot that chicken?" I said, "What chicken?" Nobody in the world got an arrow look like that but me.
Yeah.
"What chicken? What are you doing?" Oh. After that, I didn't even like to look at a paint horse or an Indian or arrows or I didn't want nothing to do with none of that stuff no more.
That sounds just like him, though. That's why I'm calling you. I want you to come here.
Yeah, what do you want? "I want you. That's why I'm calling your name."
And Riley made that mistake once or twice. We didn't do it.
No. Oh my Lord.
What?
Up to the front porch.
Who? Who? Oh my God. 3 of us.
Good shape.
Me, Doyle, Jerry Ronald.
Yeah. Wasn't we in good shape?
Friday night, we put, I don't know how many liquor stores on overtime. But we come in,
Pretty intelligent.
oh, just asked us. I don't know who tried to get on the front porch first.
Oh my Lord.
Fell off
Fell out in the yard. I fell
Yeah.
out in the yard.
in the yard.
Oh God.
Got down on our hands and knees, crawled up there finally.
Oh, my
Wanted to
God.
help the other one for a little while and then die laughing. Trying to hush. We're going to wake Bill up.
Yeah, you didn't do that.
Oh God.
You know, we got to be quiet.
Oh my Lord.
Just get the door open, stick our good head in there.
Yeah.
Boys, yes, sir. You better get your ass in there and lay down.
Get in the bed.
4:30, I'll be hollering at y'all, and I want some answers at 4:30 in the
Oh
morning.
my Lord.
Not 4:31, 4:30.
So, this was Friday night. It was done 6 or 8 or 100, I guess, tied out there. But by the time we got out there, hot, God, it's hot, sweating.
After a night like we had.
Just give
It
me
is
a
hot.
box of aspirin.
Yes.
and Don't shut the lid very
No.
hard.
No. Whatever you do.
And that was the day that every horse had to be shod with an anvil. I could hear it ringing, just like a sick robin. Your head would just throb.
Oh God. Where
He
did we?
happened to do it, and he'd make it worse.
Do
too,
you
wouldn't
remember where we went that night? I cannot remember. There ain't no telling.
Doyle,
Oh my God.
we first went to Colored Town first, where we got started.
So we had a good start.
Just got started there.
Well, see, what he's talking about, that was where the bootleggers lived. Yeah, because you couldn't buy liquor in
How
Denton.
old were y'all at this point?
18, 19.
18, 19.
Yeah.
Old
We weren't
enough.
that old because we weren't married.
Yeah.
I'd been 17.
Probably. Anyway.
It's coming out.
Hey,
15's more like it.
we could
Oh my God.
we could buy all we had money for.
Oh, you pulled up there because there's so many we were kids. Remember, Denton was still dry. If you
Well,
knew somebody, and y'all lived over there, so, you know, y'all knew, but yeah, we'd say when we was kids. You pull up and
We
Yeah,
could
mine-
buy it long before we was old enough.
Yeah. They didn't ask us for no ID.
If you
We
had
didn't-
dead presidents,
We didn't
that's all they
have,
wanted.
we didn't have to have no ID.
No, we
No.
didn't.
No. As long as we had the,
Some of them boys had horses, and they'd bring them down there, and we'd work on their horses, and
right,
we was in then.
that's right.
We was in then.
Yeah.
If they was selling beer, we was in.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. I'll tell you how the dear Lord takes care of people. There was a guy lived down there by Acme Brick. What
Guy King.
Guy King. He liked intoxication fluid.
Yes, he did.
One Saturday evening, we look up, front yard, St. Augustine. There ain't a golf course in the world any better than this was. We look up, Guy King comes riding a horse, paint. He has the rope tied around his neck, not no little bitty cotton rope. I'm talking big rope, whale rope, tied around his neck, bareback, riding this colt with a halter. He comes across, now listen, rides from Acme Brick, way back in the sticks back there. Comes out riding him. Well, he gets nearly to the porch. He can't get in the house. Falls off. This horse has not moved a hair yet. And this rope is tied right here around his neck. His neck, not the horse's neck, but around his neck.
He didn't want that horse getting away if he got him off.
He didn't.
Was wonder it didn't. Yes,
I
wonder it
know.
didn't kill
Hey.
him. That's right. That's what Gilbert said. It's wonder it didn't kill him.
That's right. That's right.
But if you was drunk enough, it didn't matter.
It didn't care.
Train that horse like your dad did them dogs.
Well, hey,
Your dad loved his dogs and loved being able to show them off to somebody that didn't know.
That's right.
And once again, as you said, we all walked up to go into the door there, and your dad had that dog, and he told that dog to sit, and he put a stick on that dog's nose. And that man said, "Well, what's he going to do?" And your dad, is in his famous words, he's going to sit there with that stick on his nose till we get done eating. Oh no! And I don't remember. And they tried to bet or something. He won't do that. Sure enough, when we come back out, that dog was still sitting there with that stick on his nose.
Yeah.
He didn't move. He knew better. He sat right there.
I got a painting in my living room of one of my dad's bird dogs. He's got his knife sitting on his nose. It's like the lady took a picture of it and she painted it. Jean Brindley, Doug Y from over at Plano, and she painted it. It's good too. He's got.
And it might have been his knife that day. Not,
You can see it's a buck knife, and you can see the insignia on it and everything. She did it just like the
she
picture
done a
was.
good job.
She did a good job.
Oh,
Pain is not what you train them with,
No.
you know.
You didn't want to hurt him.
Exactly, and you didn't,
No.
and you didn't learn to do that.
No.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and that's what he said. And the same thing like y'all were talking with horses. He taught us when training horses, instead of, you see these beaters and these knockers and head yankers, and your dad always taught us, you make that horse do what you want them to do by doing something else. Like you said, turning their head, taking them in a circle, doing something.
Yeah,
But not hurting them, because
That's it.
you don't want them to fear you. You want them to trust you. And if you're
Exactly.
beating on anything, think about it. As he'd say,
Won't work.
do you want to be beat on? That's what he used to ask. Then why would your horse want to be?
no, that's right, exactly.
Every day there was something that you learned.
Never was a dull moment, I promise you. Anytime.
We had some fun though, by
Oh,
golly.
Lord, fun. That ain't the word for
We
it.
had some fun.
I
yeah.
mean,
You had to pay for your raising, but
hey,
hey, it's all right.
it wasn't.
Wasn't nothing we couldn't live through, was it?
That's what I say. You know, we never was broke. That's for sure. You know.
Or never hungry.
was-
We ate, that's what I remember.
That's
eating.
right, exactly.
And we
Something
didn't know what
else.
broke was, and that's what I say. You didn't know because all of us were all the same.
Exactly.
It wasn't we were broke. We didn't do without. We always had clothes. Y'all were always doing something. Like I say, I remember us kids going with y'all playing cards or
Exactly.
Doing
We
whatever.
play cards, dominoes,
Whatever.
great day in the
Yeah.
morning. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I
Dang
couldn't even spell domino.
Didn't hurt us a bit, did it?
No, that's